I'm Peter Brusso for 101 Small Business Mastermind, and I have with me Frank Syringa. Say good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Frank.
All righty. There you go. So this is actually podcast number 92 for us, which is pretty cool. I mean, we're certainly not the powerhouse of some of the other people, but we're certainly not deadbeats either. So that's a good sign. We're not pod fading anymore. All right. I'm going to take up my charge here on my A block here and talk about, we've been talking about talking to a lot of different businesses and talking about a lot of different businesses. And, you know, we're running across people that say, oh, they're only going to use Yelp for their web presence, or they're only going to use Facebook, and how wrong that really all is. Because if they change their user system, that they decide what's good, bad, and ugly on their system, and you're on the ugly side, you lose everything. So I want to talk about the wheel of marketing. And I kind of coined this term, and this particular graph is 14 years old. I made it back in 2004 to help clients understand the whole concept of marketing. And basically, here you are in the hub of a wheel. You are the hub, and your values and your offers and your everything, your ethics and everything sits with your company in the middle of a hub of a wheel. And the spokes that come out from the hub and touch the rim build your whole business, the way you contact your potential clients. And you have to think of your potential clients, you know, maybe even being the tire on the wheel on the outside out here. And the spokes hold up all of that wheel connected to your hub. There's a very intricate way of working there. And these spokes can be very different depending upon your type of business. You know, you can do advertising, podcasting, public speaking, blogging, online communication, or communities would be, of course, your Facebooks, your Twitters, your Pinterest, Instagram, etc. You can target market certain groups with your targeting. That could also be direct mail, all of that kind of stuff. Going and visiting companies, anything in the physical world. The sledgehammer routine, which we haven't talked about here, but we can talk about later. Matter of fact, I'll probably present that at a later date. Obviously, your networking, if you belong to networking groups like you have, Frank, with your entrepreneurs group there. And of course, your website. And all of these spokes come out to support the potential clients. And oddly enough, your clients will actually aggregate around the ends of these spokes depending upon more or less the nature that you're coming out to talk to them. Blogging, obviously, it will be people online. Websites be people online. Advertising might be print media as well, or online, both podcasting online, public speaking, physical typically, but you could also do webinars, things like that. So you can kind of see how these might actually aggregate different types of potential clients in their particular regions. And so I think it's really important that companies understand that it isn't just one spoke that makes a wheel go round. As a matter of fact, it won't go round. So you've got to think about multiple prong approaches for your company to touch potential clients as they aggregate around the hub, or excuse me, around the tire or the outside wheel here, based on the nature of the spokes themselves. So without any further ado, it's as easy as that. Frank, you want to talk about that before I get off this?
No, what I like about it is that as old and 14 years is an eternity in the internet world. How much that applies today. Now the names may be changed. You know, online communities now, people call it social media.
Correct.
Looking forward to talk on a sledgehammer. But, you know, it comes down to the basics. Who is your target market? What do they want? Can you satisfy their needs?
Mm-hmm.
And is it easy to reach you? It's goes back to the medicine man days when he drive into town with a wagon, and he had a little stage in the back, and he sell his elixir that would cure anything from baldness to make your plants grow,
Right.
which was probably the same thing. But it comes down to know who you are, who you serve, how can you reach them, and what's going to get them excited. And that's it. And that's it. And the medicine man was probably the best marketer in the world in his day, in his or her, well, mostly in his day, and I guess when you look at it, we're still medicine man today. We don't have the wagon, we've got the internet.
Right.
So,
and if in fact one of your spokes is to go out and talk to people, public speaking, we've got Rotary, we've got, Toastmasters. You can we set up a talk once in town, so that and people. Some people tend to want to do that. I mean, they want to come to a talk where, like, I don't really like to do that very much, but, so in your people will aggregate to those certain things, touch and feely versus more techie, and, but all of it has to be encompassed in a business. You have to think out around all of that. It isn't just one thing. One thing isn't going to work. Just one thing usually doesn't have many legs. Okay.
Right. Agreed.
So, okay.